Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome to another Eternal News episode. Today I want to go over the first half of the new spoilers for Promises by Firelight, the new micro campaign coming up soon. So people have already been asking, so let's get to it. I'll talk about the second half of the cards that are spoiled in the second part of this video coming within the next days, so keep an eye on the channel if you don't want to miss it. And ideally, subscribe down below and turn on the notification icon so you get notified when it comes live. Alright, so first we have Zealous Artisan. It's a 5-cost 3/3 Exalted Oni, and when you summon it you get to play a weapon from your hand on Zealous Artisan, which is kind of interesting. Like it basically, depending on how expensive the weapon is, let's say, I don't know, you have a Deep Forge Blade, then you basically get to give your Deep Forge Blade +3/+3 and Exalted for 0 power through the investment of a card, and it also gets its own leg, so you don't need another unit. But if the opponent deals with it, you get to put the whole 8/8 Overwhelm Endurance package on another unit, which is pretty powerful. And there are like a couple of other options, but that's like one of the most obvious ones. So not sure if the card is gonna see a lot of constructed play, but at least in Expedition it seems more interesting. I don't think in Throne it's relevant, but in Expedition this could be interesting. It's certainly a card that at least has something interesting going on to try and mess around with and see how good it can be. It's neither clearly bad nor clearly good, I would say. Next we have Sunset Stone. This is pretty cool and a pretty big one actually. First of all, we haven't seen a lot of Xenon Elf support. In fact, there are only 3 elves in time, one of them being a Xenon card, the 03 for 2, the Courtier. Borderlands Lookout, which is amazing, and a measly draft card in the 4-drop that I think with Empower gets +2, doubles its stats until the end of turn. So yeah, if we also get a few additional elves, or like probably not a lot because it's a micro campaign, but if there's maybe like 1 or 2 good time elves to make this better, this seems pretty interesting. Like it's 3 cost, it's a relic for relic synergies. Like for example, there's the 2-cost Elf in Shadow that's a 1/3 and becomes a 2/3 unblockable, and also has Pledge if you have a relic. And suddenly then is like a 3/4 unblockable, which is pretty powerful if you drop this the next turn. Like if you go Borderlands Lookout into this, into Sunset Stone, suddenly you're cracking for like 6 or 7 on turn 3. Also they have Endurance from the Sunset Stone, which is super powerful, making you really good on offense while still playing defense. Especially the unblockable guy can just attack for free each turn. So there's some really powerful stuff going on. The main thing is the lack of support. Like there's really not that much point being in Xenon for elves, and I don't think you want to be like 3 faction elves, but I don't know, maybe. It's possible that there is like an Auralian elves thing, but that probably doesn't include Borderlands Lookout, so it's probably basically just Felon elves splashing for like Sunset Stone and maybe a couple of other small cards like Display or something to get the stone and have a decent trick / removal. And this obviously has nice synergy with the 6-drop elf that returns other elves and returns 2 elves if you have a relic. I forgot the name. So all in all, really powerful card. Also, in addition, you can pay 5 to draw 2 elves from the top 5 cards of your deck and then discard the rest. So the card is super powerful, really, really good. Just not sure if there is enough support yet, but as soon as we have enough support, I think this card is going to be really powerful and constructed. +1/+1 and Endurance for like technically all your units, if you build your deck accordingly, is really, really good. Pretty excited about this card. Then we have Ixtal, Champion of Grodov. That card is actually kind of underwhelming. Not a big fan. It's a 6-cost XX equal to your maximum power. The problem is if you silence this, it dies. So that's a pretty big problem, especially in Throne, but even in Expedition, there are cards like the Green Edict that is not very good against you normally, depending on your color combination, like if you Praxis or, I don't know, Illusion, for example. But with this in play, the opponent just silences it with his otherwise pretty bad Edict and it just dies. And yeah, when an enemy unit dies, play a random power card from your deck. It's also pretty underwhelming. Sure, Ixtal slowly grows and incremental power and all, but I just don't see it. Like, sure, this kind of fits into like a Praxis Kairos deck in Expedition with Ravid on 7, so I'll probably give that a try, but outside of that I don't think the card's very exciting. I think for Throne it's super irrelevant and bad. In Expedition, maybe there's something going on in Praxis with this that makes it good enough, but there's still the problem of being silenced that might be a bit too big, but we'll see. Not very excited for this card. Then we have another champion, Ali, champion of Kadosh. This is a 3-cost 1/1 that has that gets plus attack and health equal to your highest cost relic. So basically encourages you to be a curses deck, for example, like in a curse deck. This seems interesting because if you have relic curses on the enemy, they work for this. Otherwise, obviously in relic weapon decks. So and if Ali has 8 or more attack, she has flying, so that's nice. The problem is, if you don't have a relic out, you get a 3-cost 1/1. If you have a relic weapon, your opponent kills it, suddenly your Ali shrinks. So seems like a lot of work for a card that's probably just gonna be okay if you have the synergy for her, basically, and pretty bad if you don't, which is kind of not what you want. You want cards that are solid on their own and then get better with synergies, usually. And yeah, on summon you may silence an enemy unit with 4 attack or less, so that's nice. There's a bit of a Valkyrie Enforcer thing going on. This card, once again, seems designed for Expedition, where Valkyrie Enforcer would be too good. They don't want it there anymore because it has been dominating Throne for so long, and this is kind of a more interesting and less powerful version of it. But the card just seems kind of mad. The summon sort of salvages it a bit, making it a bit more decent all around. But yeah, card seems okay in Expedition. Once again, pretty bad in Throne, but that's, I think, something that we will see and hear a lot going forward, unfortunately. And last but not least, for the first batch of spoilers, we have Spitflame Draconis. This is pretty cool. Even in Throne, I think this could be interesting. It's a 6-cost, 6/7 flyer. That alone is pretty good. It's multi-faction, so it doesn't die to Annihilate, which is one of the few cheap, fast removal that we have left, with the non-fast cheap removal like Vanquish and Desecrate being pretty expensive, that could have answered this. So basically the only like cheaper thing that can answer this sort of is basically Equivocate and Permafrost in Primal, and we all know Permafrost comes with a whole lot of other issues, and getting your 6-drop Equivocated can be bad tempo-wise, but it's not very bad in terms of the downside of Equivocate, because 6 is like kind of the cost where you often get something fairly meaningful and impactful still that you can just replay, and the opponent basically just played a slightly better teleport, which is not that impressive depending on the game state, obviously. It can still be really good, but it's certainly less good than, I don't know, getting this vanquished. And it also comes with a couple of extra tools. So you can pay 4 to deal 1 damage to an enemy unit, and if that unit has endurance, you kill it. So pre-kill on Sandstorm Titan, of course. In Expedition it's super punishing against Elysian between Mila Iso and Armadillo, and getting Hourglass from the market. And yeah, there are obviously a couple of other random endurance units and endurance givers, so that is pretty nice, but that's more of like a bonus because 4 is pretty expensive, but it's kind of like a nice thing to have. Paying 4, like you're usually gonna pay this to kill a unit, either pay 4 to kill something with endurance, or pay 4 to kill something with 1 health. Sometimes in the super late game you might even kill something with like 2, or very, very rarely with 3 health. But yeah, the card seems pretty annoying and fairly strong. So also on summon, you get to stun an enemy unit, it stays stunned for as long as you have Split Flame Draconis, just like say the Raka Queen's Guard. But yeah, I think this is a lot better, first of all, because it is multi-faction, so it's Annihilate proof, and it has flying, and it has this ability that makes it even more threatening. So yeah, I could see this being an option in Throne. Not sure how well it is gonna fit in, but it seems reasonably interesting, especially with like Heart of the Vault having left as like the go-to 6-drop. This could be interesting in something like Yennev, or even in like a Skycrack deck with Dragon synergies. You saw me trying something like that on stream that went pretty well the other day. Stuff like that. And in Expedition this seems really strong. Alright, that's it for the first 5 cards of Promises by Firelight. We have currently 4 or 5 more cards spoiled since those have been spoiled, I think, at the time of recording this video, and I'll be back with the remaining cards in the next video. So until then, you can catch me live on Twitch, usually in the afternoon German time, from Monday to Friday. So come by, hang out, play games, ask questions, all the things. You can find all this information in the description down below, as usual. And of course, leave a like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. And yeah, that's it again for this time. I'm your host ManuS. I thank you for watching. Bye.